Welcome to Rainy Day Rabbit Holes, where we take the history of the West off the rails.
If you like your history unhinged, you are in the right place.
I'm Shea.
And I'm Jody.
Let's fall down the rabbit hole.
Hi, Shea, and welcome back, listeners. Our history nerds, ghost lovers, and lovers of all things creepy, but educational, of course.
Definitely me.
And definitely you. That's why we started this.
Right.
Today, as part of our local tour review series, we are reviewing Pretty Gritty Tours, Lantern Tour of Fort Steilacoom.
Pretty Gritty Tours? I don't think I've heard of them.
I know. We don't really talk about them much. I've kind of kept them a secret from you.
They're kind of flown under the radar.
Definitely here. We are not Chris's stalkers. Well, at least I'm not.
I am not a stalker.
Whatever.
Let's clear this up.
Okay, the podcast is the stalker.
Yes, thank you.
It is not us.
The funny thing is, though, is because I am an employee of his, and so he had to send me a W whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually have his address now.
Oh, my gosh. You are. That is one way. That is the long game. That's the long game.
No, this sounds terrible. His wife is going to be like,
you
need to fire that girl, Shea.
It's so funny until someone does stalk him and they don't know who it is. And then they're going to think it's...
No, it is not me. This joke is maybe starting to go too far.
Yeah, maybe they're going to start thinking it's real. So we took this tour together, you and I, and our husbands about a year ago. And it's actually one of my favorite tours. We did it at night with lantern.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good. I recommend making sure you're going after dark. Do the lantern tour.
And my brother asked if you can bring your own lantern.
Well, I suppose.
And I suppose. But I also said you probably need to wear a cloak with a hood if you're going to do that.
Oh, let's go as a group.
I will
in a costume.
100% do it. We could get the Invisible History ladies to do that
we
for
should
sure with
totally
us.
do that.
Yeah. They're theater kids.
Okay, does any of them good at filming? Because that will have to be documented if we all make it on. And then we should set up questions for Chris. Not tell him we're coming as a group.
Oh, but we'll all show up hooded so he can't see our faces. Yes. But, he has to check you in.
Yeah, this poor Chris. Like,
it's not going to work out.
We have all these scams and schemes while he's just trying to run a successful business.
I mean, at this point, it sounds like we're just going to be lurking in the woods while he's trying to give a tour.
And you know what? This tour specifically is a good place to start lurking in the woods.
No, don't go lurk in the woods. I'm sorry.
No, for us.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm giving everybody bad ideas.
Just kidding. We are out.
Not
There's actually
you,
not
Chris.
a lot of woods. You would have to hide behind buildings.
Ruins of buildings.
Mm-hmm. Ruins of buildings. So we took this about a year ago, had a great time, and wanted to do a review on it. So first, let's set the scene. It's nighttime.
Ooh.
You're walking through an unmarked graveyard.
Ooh.
Because, of course, the 1800s were a hot mess when it came to,
everything.
Human rights specifically.
Right.
The wind is whispering through the trees, and your tour guide, Chris, is spinning tales so vivid you half expect a ghost to tap you on the shoulder.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. There were some very creepy moments. For sure.
There were. And he does a good job of getting you in the moment to feel it. If you've ever thought, hey, you know what my family would love? A nighttime graveyard tour. First of all, you're my kind of people. And second of all, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
This is a great place. This is a good family tour. It's just enough scary, I think, and creepy that it's not too scary or creepy for your family.
But I think it's scary and creepy enough that a teenager would be.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, teenagers are like, why am I here?
And that might be the highlight right there, taking a teenager.
They might get creeped out enough that they're actually interested in it. Yeah.
Come prepared. We're going to talk about a few things. Come prepared so that maybe you can spook them somehow. Play a game.
I 100% sign off on parents pranking their kids.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's
I have a
amazing.
few. I agree.
Yes.
It's time to grab your ghost hunting gear, or let's be real, just a flashlight and some walking shoes. And let's talk about why this tour is 100% worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with the real MVP of the experience. That's Chris, the tour guide. Now, I've been on some tours where the guide reads from a script or their enthusiasm is lacking. But Chris, he delivers. His storytelling is cinematic. He paints pictures in the words, He paints pictures with his words, bringing history to life in a way that makes you forget you're standing in a literal field of unmarked graves. He's got the perfect mix of historical accuracy, theatrical flair, and just enough eerie suspense to keep you looking over your shoulder.
Yes. He's very good at dropping some creepy fact as like a cliffhanger.
Yes.
And like leaving you on it.
And then now let's walk over here.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait.
You're like, hold on.
What did you just say? Not to mention, he makes history fun because let's be real, history, especially the tragic kind, can get a little bleak. But Chris knows how to balance the heavy with the engaging, making this tour educational without being a total bummer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it is kind of, if you were to look at it without a fun filter over your lens, this is really depressing stuff here.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
he does a really good job of honoring people, but not bringing the people that are there down.
yes. Part of this tour, I'm sure you talk about it in your episode here, is the Western State Hospital, which you can go back and listen to our episode about it. It's some bleak stuff, guys.
Bleak stuff.
So the fact that he's able to find some levity here and there to help draw you out of just like, well, now I'm depressed.
Yeah. Yes.
is really great, and he does it in a very respectful way.
Right. I always feel like he does a good, any of his tours that I've been on, when he talks about these people, I feel like he honors them well.
Absolutely, yes.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of bummers, let's talk about why this graveyard exists in the first place. Fort Steilacoom was once a menstrual
institution.
Somewhere, apparently for
It was a
menstruating mental problems.
Menstrual institution. I mean, I'm sure that there's been times where they do just lock you up for menstruating.
Yes, we remember we heard about this.
That's true.
That hysteria known as
You just
PMS.
lock you up for menstruating.
Hormones. But if you're thinking, oh no, that sounds like a terrible place for mental health patients in the 1800s, because buckle up, it's worse than that.
Yes.
And you can hear our episode on that. We did an entire episode just on Western State Hospital and touched on this tour very briefly.
Yeah, I want to say it was like episode 44 or something. I can't remember. It was back in the 40s.
Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes.
40s of our episodes. We'll put it in the show notes.
And I wink at her because
I know.
I have no clue what I'm talking about. This is her game.
She gave me the biggest, most theatrical wink with a big open mouth. So I can't wink
I'm
with that.
over here pretending when I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about. Wink, wink. Back then, mental treatments were, well, a disaster wrapped in a nightmare. Patients were often sent to asylums, not because they needed help, but because their families did not want to deal with them.
Yep.
Women could be committed for hysteria.
Oh my God, my uterus is wondering.
Yep. For a fun fact, including things like reading too much or having an opinion.
Oh shit,
Straight hysteria over there, Shea.
I'm screwed.
I'm going to have to wear a label. I am. Watch out. Hysteria coming through.
Oh God, we should make shirts that just say, watch out, hysterical woman.
It's happening.
Rainy day rabbit holes.
Oh, God.
Oh God, I think, is that going to be our new tagline? Watch out, hysterical women come crossing.
I think it should be.
Caution, hysterical woman crossing.
That if you have an opinion, that means you're hysterical.
Right?
We are hysterical.
On multiple levels.
Okay, so back to the story. Anyway, the saddest part, when patients passed away, they weren't even given a proper burial. Instead, they were laid to rest in unmarked graves because apparently basic human dignity was too much to ask.
Well, I mean, the conditions they lived in already told you that.
Yes, definitely. And families were embarrassed by having a family member who needed mental health care. So they, to protect the families, didn't label the graves.
Yeah.
So that people wouldn't see that name and go, "Oh, did you see the Hendersons? That's where their daughter went. I saw her gravesite."
There's somebody who was having sex with a Bigfoot. Oh, sorry. Sorry, that's back to our Bigfoot erotica episode that you can only get if you're a patron.
Not those Hendersons.
Sorry. I'm a terrible person.
Yes. We are not doing as good a job of classing it up as Chris, I guess.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
So if there's a group that deserves a standing ovation, it's Grave Concerns, a
Yes.
nonprofit group who has made it their mission to identify and memorialize the graves of those who were buried there. They are literally giving names back to the nameless. And if it doesn't give you chills in the best way possible, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
They've done years and years of work trying to identify first where these individual graves were located. The graves had been overgrown and they knew there was a graveyard there, but they've never been really taken care of. So they had to find the graves, find the plots, number them, go back to those numbers, find the documentation, because somewhere in the documentation it says who in lot 17 is buried there.
Right.
And then go mark these graves. So they've done a lot of work.
Yeah, they have.
So they've been working tirelessly to install plaques and headstones, ensuring that these forgotten souls are finally recognized. Because, hey, just because the 1800s were terrible doesn't mean we have to stay terrible. So if you're thinking, wow, that's amazing, how can I support them? First of all, great question. You compassionate, beautiful human. Second, check out their website, donate if you can, and maybe attend one of their events. Because if we're going to visit a haunted graveyard, we might as well do some good while we're at it.
Right.
So now what some of you might be thinking is, this all sounds great, but should I really bring my family to a graveyard at night? And
Yes.
the answer is yes, for sure. Yes. It's educational. Boom. Homeschool kids should definitely go.
Thank you.
Right, Shea?
Yes.
You should. It could be your next history lesson. It's spooky, but not too spooky. Just enough to give you a thrill without traumatizing your kids for life. And it's bonding. Nothing brings family closer together than collectively wondering if the shadow has moved.
Yep.
Or which one of your family members could be buried here in this cemetery.
Right.
Plus, there's something wonderfully weird about standing in a graveyard, flashlight in hand, hearing about the people who walked these grounds before you did. It's like history class, but with a thrilling, eerie twist. So what's the final verdict? This tour is a must. We give it 5 squatches out of 5.
Squatches.
5 out of 5. We really had a really good time. Our husbands had a good time.
Yeah.
We've actually done a couple episodes based off information that we heard during this tour. Chris sparked this, the Western State episode, and Frances Farmer.
Yep.
Because you will hear about her in Chris's tour of Fort Steilacoom.
Yeah, because they take you up to the ruins of the one ward that she was kept in.
Yep. And he gives you a little bit of background information that maybe you didn't know before.
Yeah. You know, but
but unless you listen to our episode, because we also gave it to you.
That's true. So I loved the Frances Farmer piece of the tour most, but the other one was about the dairy barn, where the inmates of the hospital were raising
Patience.
They were inmates at that time. They were in prison. The patients of the hospital were raising some dairy cows and I think some other animals, and they were doing so well with them. And
they were thriving.
I think they were winning awards at like local cow contests or whatever. And then like one day they showed up and they were like, oh, we couldn't afford to keep, I'm going to spoil it. You have to go take the tour to learn the rest of that story and why it's so tragic. Sorry, I was going to give spoilers, but it broke my heart. I cried a little, I think.
There's a couple moments because I did my nursing school clinicals for mental health at Western State Hospital. And there's they used to have vegetable gardens and grow their own vegetables. There's a couple times where people, I think with good intent in some ways, they basically thinking that we were making slave labor out of these poor patients, not realizing the therapeutic effects of gardening and growing your own food, and then also eating healthy food. So it went to, here's a big can of slop now.
Well, there's a big difference between a patient being cooped up in a single room or inside a building all day and then letting them go outside and do something useful
with their hands and in nature. And
I doubt that they were like, get out there, tend the garden.
Right. Yes, right. Exactly. I know when we learned that we had to go through an orientation to start there, and we did get history, and the people that work there would, when they tell that part of the story, are not happy about it.
No, it's very sad. But you guys have to take the tour to learn that part of the history.
Yeah, well, at least the cow barns, those are different than the than the flower gardens. Yes. I mean, I'm sorry, vegetable garden. Whether you're a history buff or a ghost enthusiast or just someone who enjoys a good story, Pretty Gertie Tours absolutely delivers. Chris is a phenomenal guide. The history is fascinating and occasionally rage-inducing, just like we touched on. And the work of grave concerns is truly inspiring. Plus, how often do you get a chance to take a moonlit stroll through an abandoned asylum graveyard?
Not often.
And it's guided, so you know where you're going. You're
Right.
not going to get lost.
Right.
So go take the tour, learn something new, maybe a ghostly friend or two. And if you see Chris, tell him we sent you.
Oh gosh. Now it sounds creepy.
It's definitely stalker level. But let him know, hey, your stalkers said.
No, don't say that. Let's
recommended
we need to start squashing this stalker rumor. I'm not stalking Chris. I have no idea
Rumor we started.
where he is or what he's doing at this moment.
Until next time, stay spooky, stay curious, and remember, just because something is dead, it doesn't mean it's forgotten. And also, remember, Ruff was here.
Yes,
our little shelter
all
dog
this noise
has
you're hearing,
participated in this.
Ruff trying to get to her crackers. Thank you, Ruff, for making life more exciting.
So if you love this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow history-loving weirdos.
All right, guys. Well, remember, you can go sign up for any of these tours at prettygrittytours.com. Use the code RainyDayRabbits, all lowercase, all one word, for 10% off. Hopefully it works. Some people have been saying mixed reviews on it working.
I was on there today. There are so many good tours.
There's so many good tours. I really want to take the Tacoma Noir tour. That's the next one I think we'll take. And then the Annie Wright School, because I want to lead that one if I can.
Yay.
And then also don't forget, hopefully, I think this should be coming out before April 19th. April 19th, I will be giving tours of Stadium High School in Tacoma at 5 and 7 p.m. And then also May 10th. So 5 and 7 p.m. So April 19th, May 10th, if you sign up for Stadium High School, you might get me. And please, if you do sign up for the tour, email me at shay@rainydayrabbitholes.com and let me know you're coming so I can make sure to say hi to you. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Remember, rainydayrabbitholes.com for all of your... Sorry, this is the dog hitting the microphone over and over again. rainydayrabbitholes.com for all of the information you need, including if you would like to become a supporter of the show. Thank you so much, and
see you down the rabbit hole.
All right, let's get happy.
Happy thoughts. We're going to talk about dead people.
All
Forgotten
right.
dead people that were crazy. We're in our happy place.